Fandoms here, we share the love. Every topic you're dreaming of. Join the chat, let's fan away. This is Fandoms, come and stay.
Today on the show, we're going to be talking to Jordan from Shonen Flop about heavy metal. Welcome to the show, Jordan.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me, man.
No problem. I've been excited to talk to you. When I found Shonen Flop there, I thought you were hilarious. And I was like, man,
Thank you.
when I start my show, these are two guys who I got to reach out to because, like, I found you guys during my cancer treatment and, like,
Oh, shit.
you guys got me, like, through that laughing and stuff. It was great, man.
Oh, man. Dude, that means so much to me, man. I'm so glad that we were able to help you out through that. That's awesome. I mean, I'm sorry. Obviously, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but, like, I'm glad that we were able to help you. That's really cool.
I just decided, I was like, I have not, like, checked out any kind of anime or manga podcast. I was like, they have to exist. So you guys were, like, the first one I found, and I started on the Zip Man one, so, like, beginning, and I think I'm at about 43 now.
I'm glad that you didn't judge us too harshly on the first episode.
Oh, no, man. Like, you go back and listen to my early stuff, and, like, it is awful. Like, I had no idea what I was doing, so, like, comparing, like, your early stuff to, like, all my stuff before, I'm like, yeah, no, I was like, I got to improve.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no, it's funny. Glad that it worked out when you listened to that. But people are like, "What should I start on? Should I start at the first?" I'm like, "No, please don't. Oh my god, no, that's when we were at our worst."
Oh man, the Optimus Prime blue balls joke, like, it took like a while for me to actually be like, wait, what are they talking about? Because I didn't put it together, and then once I did, I was like, okay, yeah, I was like, that is great.
Dude, it's so... That manga, Zip Man, like, we re-looked at it. We looked at it again for, like, one of our anniversary episodes.
Okay, I forgot.
And still, the moment where it's just straight up, for those who haven't listened, Zip Man is, like, this manga. We review canceled manga on our show. Zip Man is a manga that got canceled after, I want to say, like, 20 chapters. It's been a while. But for one page, like, you've seen, like, these kinds of setups before where they show the bad guys in shadow and you just see their outlines. And one of the bad guys is clearly Optimus Prime.
Yeah, I literally Googled the image just because I was like, how close is it? I was like, is it? And it just looks like Optimus.
It's Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And Optimus Prime never shows up. He just does. That's the only chance. So we're reading this. We're like, when does Optimus Prime show up? When does this happen? And it doesn't. So I think that's why I said this gave me Optimus Prime blue balls. I think is what you're talking about.
Yes. It's as soon as it sunk in, I just burst out laughing. I think I was actually at the gym when it happened, and I just, like, burst out laughing while just walking on a treadmill, and I was, it slew me.
I'm so glad. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, because, like, one of the difficulties with doing a podcast, and I've heard that this is for other people who do media, is, like, different kinds of media, is that it's hard to hear, like, it's hard to get feedback sometimes on your work, you know? Like, so I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No problem. So getting into heavy metal here.
Yeah.
What would you say separates heavy metal from other types of music?
So there's a couple things. One of the most important aspects to it is there's this transgressive sound quality, like, sound to it. Usually that is like 90% of the time that's, like, a distorted guitar, more or less. That is, like, the most iconic sound of metal, I think. There's, like, just something, like, but like, another aspect of it, I remember reading this on a blog years ago, and it was like, oh my god, that's totally true. And it is, like, the rhythm in metal is often the melody, like, the guitar riff. It's like that, like, if you ever listen to Metallica, like, a lot of their, like, James Hetfield's guitar playing is simultaneously the rhythm, but it's also like the song, like you versus like a lot of like more traditional rock and roll and stuff like that. They're kind of just they're playing chords and stuff, and then there's a lead melody over top of that, be it the singer, be it the, like a lead guitar. In metal, a lot of the time the rhythm guitar is kind of still a lead instrument.
Yeah, I love that you bring up Metallica, because it's like one of the heavy metal bands I probably know the most about. Mostly because I was supposed to do an episode of this with the guy on Metallica. I watched a bunch of documentaries and was like,
Oh,
I was like, this band is insane. Like I learned about like the guy who went out the bus window or whatever and stuff when the bus
Cliff
crashed.
Burton. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
all just like the
devastating.
drama and everything. Like
Did you watch Some Kind of Monster by any chance?
I think that might have been the name of one of them. Yeah, and
I've-
I think one of them was just a YouTube video that was like the history of Metallica. That was like 50 minutes, but I watched a few different things. I went really heavy down a Metallica rabbit hole.
So Some Kind of Monster is. Have you ever seen Spinal Tap? Curious, like, you know what that
Yes,
is? Or-
I watched it years ago, and I don't remember it hugely, but I know I've watched it.
like the so like yeah, like the general gist is this is a parody of a metal band,
Yes,
more or less.
I remember that much.
Some Kind of Monsters is as close to a real life Spinal Tap as you can get, because it's Metallica. They're coming back, like it was for their album Saint Anger, which is one of the most hated albums in all of metal. It is like the most made fun of album ever, and it was like Metallica's attempt to come back and like make this album, and the whole time it's just like they're all middle-aged and they're all like just like struggling with aging and stuff like that, and having all these petty arguments while making a horrible album and talking about how great it is and stuff. And it's like it's embarrassing, but it's hilarious.
Oh, that's great. Like I don't think I watched it. I think I heard the title in one of the things because it really rang a bell when you said the title, but I don't think I watched that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you watch it and you're like, why did they release this?
That's too funny.
This doesn't make them look good. But yeah, no, Metallica is also like, they're kind of like the founders of thrash metal, which is sort of like more or less considered like the first extreme metal genre. So like, you know, if you go back to like the early 80s, you know, like Van Halen is like heavy metal, but they're not like extreme metal. You know what I mean?
When exactly did metal start?
So metal started here's how I've heard this best kind of described. You can sit here and argue like, oh, you know, metal started, like the first metal song was Inagata Devita by Iron Butterfly. Oh, you know, like Steppenwolf started it. And people argue about that all the time, but as soon as Black Sabbath dropped their first album, you can't argue about it anymore, because that's the one album nobody argues that is metal. That is 100% metal. Nobody will say that it's not, basically.
Sabbath was like a formative band of my music love. I never owned any of the actual albums, but my cousin burned me a CD when we were younger with every single Sabbath song he knew of on it. And he gave it to me and he was like, this is good music. Go home and check it out. And I fell in love with it.
They're so good. Oh my God. Do you know like the story of how Sabbath, like why Sabbath's guitar is like so low and how they got their sound? Because it's insane.
No, honestly, I don't even know half the names of the songs I loved as a kid, because he literally just gave me this CD with no case, no nothing. So like every once in a while, like throughout the years, I'll be like sitting at work and randomly hear it on like my shuffle list, and then I instantly have to pause, go in, figure out what the title is. I'm like, okay, I'm slowly building back my playlist of Sabbath.
So one of the things that immediately separated Sabbath from the other people around them is that their instruments were tuned lower. So it's like just like this lower, sludgier kind of like heavier sound. And the reason is because Tony Iommi, the guitarist, shortly before they started practicing, he worked at a metal shop, like a metal machining shop. And he was doing some kind of slicing work and accidentally chopped off 2 of his fingers.
Oh, they're guitarist?
They're guitarists, and they were like the shredding ones. They were like, so what he did was he got prosthetic fingers, and then he tuned the guitars lower because that makes the strings looser, and so it's easier to play.
Smart.
So it's like, so it indirectly just created their sound more or less.
Man, the cool bandmates for not just being like, yeah, man, you're out.
I know. I mean, I think they were all like, oh shit, he was like our ticket. Oh no. Like, I'm sure they were freaking out because he's like an amazing guitarist. So they were like, no.
Yeah, it's crazy how creative people are and how they can just adapt like that. Like, I would never think of that in a million years.
Oh god, no. It's one of those things you read it and you're just like, god damn, dude. Good for you, man. Hell yeah.
So how did you first get into heavy metal?
My older brother was mainly into rap and stuff, but he had Limp Bizkit CDs when I was a little kid. And you know, we make fun of Limp Bizkit now, but when I was a little kid, man, I listened to that, I was like, this is awesome. This is the coolest thing I'd ever heard. Oh, yeah. And that was like, oh man, maybe I like this thing called heavy metal. And then as I got older, I remember meeting this kid. So I went to this place called the Paul Green School of Rock, which was an after-school program. It separated you into these separate little bands, more or less, and you played cover shows, more or less. So, like, you would have, we're doing the Black Sabbath show. All these teenagers are getting together, and they're just going to put on a show playing Black Sabbath songs. I remember I met this kid there, and he introduced me to Nirvana. And I was like, this is so cool. And he was like, yeah, man, this dark, heavy music is so cool. Let me show you Slayer now. And I was like, yeah. And that's kind of,
Yeah.
that was it. I was hooked.
My brother went through a metal phase briefly in like high school, and he showed me like Slayer and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, okay, this is different.
Yeah, it really is. Oh man. What kind of music do you typically listen to? Just curious. Like,
mostly classic and like alternative rock, but like I dabble into pretty much everything. Like, I'm not as big into like hip hop, but there's like a lot of songs I do like in the genre, but it's probably the one I listen to least.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Like, what classic rock bands are you into? I'm just curious. Yeah.
I'm so bad at thinking of all this kind of stuff off the spot because I'm not like
a
huge music guy. Like, I enjoy music, but like I don't listen to it as much as I used to and everything. I'm way more into like podcasts and audiobooks these days.
Same, honestly.
Like,
yeah.
A lot of the time I'll find like at the gym, like sometimes I'll throw on music, but like I listen to a lot of, God, I'm just going to look up Spotify real quick because that'll make that way easier.
Hey, it's all good. I've been working my way through a Lord of the Rings audiobook, so.
I just did those ones. I just did Fellowship and everything. And no, I had actually never really been a huge Lord of the Rings guy. And now I'm just hooked.
It's so cool.
There, a lot of my rock and headbanger playlist basically that I found. Some Tool, Children of Bodom, Parkway Drive.
Children of Bodom, damn. Dude, I was so
Ozzy.
Oh, of course.
System of a Down.
Oh man, System of a Down is so close to my heart, man.
Me too.
I love System of a Down so much.
Oh, my buddy Jordan showed me them in like sixth grade or something, and he's like, my uncle or my mom showed me this band, like, check it out. I just like some of their songs, I was like, this is the funniest shit I have ever heard. And then like the rest of it, I'm just like, this is like, the beat to it is so hard and everything. I was like, I love it.
It's one of those things where you first hear it, I'm like, this is ridiculous, and then you think, and then you listen to it more and like, but it's also kind of sick, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then like other things like Yes.
Oh, I saw Yes live like like 15 years ago at this point. Like, nah, it was unfortunately John Anderson, their singer, was out with like throat cancer, I think. So, but they brought I'll never forget this. They brought in this Canadian dude. His name was Benoit David, who did an amazing John Anderson impression. Great show.
Fellow Canadian representing, way right on.
Ah, you a Canadian?
Oh yeah, Ontario.
Right, yeah.
We're like 45 minutes an hour from the border, so we're like closer to America than like any other city or town near us. But yeah, I'm like right on like Lake Superior near Minnesota.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I was in. Yeah, I went there as a kid. That place is great.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I'm biased. I've been here too long.
It's different when you're visiting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because like everybody here, they all go to the America for trips. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Duluth for the weekend or something. Like everybody does it constantly. As soon as they have their driver's license here, it's like, all right, we're taking weekend trips to Duluth.
Nice.
So, what are some of your favorite metal bands?
Oh man, so like we're talking some old school death metal, like the band Death. Fun fact, nobody really knows where the name death metal comes from, but a lot of people kind of just think it came from Death, because they were like one of the... It's like Black Sabbath, the Black Sabbath thing, where like you can argue about who was the first death metal band, but after Death comes out, nobody argues that they're not death metal. You know, it's like, nah, Death was amazing. It was headlined by this one guy named Chuck Schuldiner. He died in like 2001 from brain cancer, I think. He was an incredible guitarist. I absolutely adore that band. Bolt Thrower, which is a British death metal band from like late 80s, early 90s and stuff, and they're inspired by Warhammer 40K.
Oh, cool. I just started getting into like all the lore and stuff for that because of my one buddy.
Oh yeah, no, if you like if you look up like their album art, it's all like a lot of it is just like, man, this just looks right out of a Warhammer book. Damn. I like those guys. I also really love King Diamond.
Okay, yeah, I honestly haven't heard of any of those, so I'm gonna have to check them all out.
King Diamond it's kind of like System of a Down, where it's like, it sounds completely ridiculous and hilarious the first time you hear it, and then you listen to it more and you're like, wait, this is really good actually. Because he has this really high-pitched falsetto voice, and then his albums, and then sometimes he'll do like a really low voice, like extreme range, while he has like the best guitarists ever, like some of the most incredible heavy metal backing tracks, like backing bands.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and like all of his albums are these concept albums. They're all like, you could adapt all of his albums into like B horror movies. It's great.
That's so cool. Yeah, the good guitar makes music for me. Like all my favorite music is like guitar focused thing. I think that's one of the reasons I don't like as much hip hop.
Yeah,
and like most of the stuff I do that's in hip hop, they do incorporate in like actual instruments and not just like synthetic beats.
I really respect samples. I really respect a lot of that electronic stuff. I think it's really cool, and I do like a lot of that stuff, but like, I'm just drawn to guitar, you know? It's like...
Yeah, there's something about the sound of a guitar that just like, for me, it's like, it hits a way other instruments don't hit my ears.
I completely agree. You know, you get that distortion on there, and you just like, yeah, man, that's just some of the best for me. I think some other bands, Black Sabbath, one of my favorites. You can't go wrong with Black Sabbath. I mean, they're amazing. I love Morbid Angel. They're also like an early death metal band. God, let's see. I'm just trying to think of like who I've really been crazy for. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna check my spot now.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, it's so hard when you're sitting there trying to think of things on the spot. Like, at least you could come up with some. I had to pull up Spotify just to think of anything, really.
Carcass is amazing. There's this other genre called grindcore, which it's sort of debatable whether it's like metal or hardcore punk inspired. It's kind of both. You listen to it, and to the layman, it just sounds like really extreme death metal, basically. And Carcass started out as a grindcore band and then evolved and then turned into more of like a death metal band and stuff. They sort of invented melodic death metal.
Okay, yeah, I love like hardcore death metal and stuff, but like I have to be in the specific mood for it. I find.
Oh, yeah.
I love that kind of stuff like at the gym or something, but like when I'm just sitting around relaxing, I always just find myself like, if I throw it on, I end up mostly like skipping through things, and I don't know. It's definitely a mood thing for me. I love it, but only at specific times.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everything. I used to listen to metal 24/7. I still listen to 90% of the time when I listen to music, it's metal. But yeah.
That's awesome. So what would you say is your all-time favorite album?
So this is difficult. This is very difficult for me. Let's see. Well, I mentioned King Diamond earlier. His album Abigail is amazing to me. Like some of my favorite, just some of the best metal like ever, I think. You got Violent Restitution by Razor, which is probably my favorite thrash metal album ever. Hammer Heart by Bathory, which is amazing. It's like this really huge, like kind of epic feeling metal album. It's actually like the first Viking metal album it's considered. And it was just recorded by like this guy with really, really shitty recording with really shitty recording instruments out in like Norway somewhere. It's so good.
That's so random. Like, is it just that he couldn't afford anything better, or did he purposely just record it on garbage?
A lot of the early Norwegian black metal scene were just like a group of teenage friends. They were just like a large group of teenage friends who were all in black metal bands. And yeah, a lot of them just... Look, black metal and that stuff is not a very monetarily lucrative genre of music. This is the other thing. You don't get into extreme metal to make money. I'm sorry. You just don't. It's not... It's more popular than it's ever been, and it's still not that profitable. So, like we're talking, like, late 80s and stuff. He's making no money off of this. It was like an entirely one-man project. And then, you got a lot of people who now are like, but they did it right. It sounds better on that shitty recording instruments that they use, the shitty technologies. It doesn't sound right when you're in a big studio.
That's so funny. Yeah, people just defending it now. What do you think? Do you think it was better or worse?
So, here's the thing. I see where they're coming from. I really do, because... There was a time period in the 2000s where I just hated how metal sounded because the guitars were just so pretty. Metal should sound ugly. I am a firm believer in that. It should sound nasty and mean and gross and just really like it should sound like it could hurt you, basically. That's what's great. That's what like some of the best metal is to me. And that stuff all sounds like that, partly because it's recorded so terribly. You can get that in a better studio situation. Like, for a while, I think that recording studios didn't really know how to do that. They can do it now, I really believe, because, like, there's some metal albums that are coming out, like, now that just sound great. They sound fantastic. But also, like, specifically that subgenre of black metal, is also like so defined by like the noise that was created there, like through those rudimentary technologies, that it's kind of like it's hard to get that on better equipment.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So, have you been to a lot of concerts, and what would you say is your favorite one?
So I've been to a few. I haven't been to as many as I would like to.
I feel that.
Man, let's see. One of the ones that stick out was I saw Ailstorm, which is like a pirate metal band. They were hilarious. They were so much fun live. They were like the mosh pit, like people had put their arms around each other and they were doing like the yo ho ho thing, and I got knocked across the pit. It was hilarious. Or, you know, I brought him up like 5 times now, but like I went to a King Diamond show a few years ago. That was amazing. He had this huge set that looked like the front of a mansion, and there was like borderline like stage acting going on. It was crazy. It was amazing.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Oh, so cool.
I've only been to like bar shows and stuff like that mostly. I think I've been to like one like concert that wasn't like a bar or anything. Or no, 2.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw Megadeth perform like all of Rust in Peace, which is like their best album. That was amazing. Yeah, it's hard for me to really pull out like one specific one that I saw that really like was amazing. Recently I saw Any Obliviscaris, which is like, or maybe it's Ne Obliviscaris. I don't know. It's a Australian band. They're a metal band that has like a violinist in it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, they're amazing. And it's like some kind of Latin term.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that sounds cool. I'm gonna have to check that one out for sure.
Oh yeah.
So, are there any bands you think are super overrated in the genre?
Yeah, Volbeat is relatively popular. I used to see them all the time. I can't stand Volbeat. I really can't. I tried. I do not like them at all.
What about them do you think it is that irks you?
You know, the riffs and the songs are kind of not that interesting, and then I hate their singer. I just really do not like him. I've heard people call them like the Danish Metallica, and that is wrong, because the Danish Metallica is Artillery, who are way better.
My buddy was really, really into Artillery. I don't think I've ever actually listened to them, though.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah, By Inheritance is an incredible thrash metal album. But yeah, Volbeat's super overrated. I'm not a big fan of Avenged Sevenfold. I kind of feel like they are kind of overrated.
Yeah, I loved them as a teenager, and then like at some point I was just like, I don't think this is for me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, people might, and you know, if the wrong people or the right people listened to this, they might hate me for saying this. I never liked Def Leppard, really. I just never really got into them. I tried. I think they have good choruses, and that I don't like anything else.
I feel that completely. Yeah, their choruses are pretty good, and then I've never been a big fan of their music. Like my cousin, same one who got me into Sabbath, was huge into them, and he tried to get me into them, and it didn't stay.
Yeah. Nah, it's like it just kind of, everything that's not the chorus just sounds like the same song over and over again, and it's not my favorite song. Sorry, my headphones got messed up again. 1 second. But yeah, like I'm a dick to someone if they're like, "Oh, my favorite band is Volbeat." I'm like, "That's cool, man. You have a good time."
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Like, no point in like getting on. Everybody's got different tastes.
I guarantee you, I like so many things that you hate. Like it's. Oh my god.
So, do you play any instruments at all? You said you went to the metal camp. So, were you singing or were you rocking out?
I was kind of doing both. I played guitar since I was 7 years old. So I guess that's like, God, that's like 26 years. Yeah. I've played guitar for the vast majority of my life, and I love it, and it's very important to me. And I also sang a lot at that School of Rock thing. Like so I guess I do both.
Was Jack Black teaching you to sing there?
No, the School of Rock predates the movie,
I
actually.
figured when you said
Yeah.
you've been doing it since you were 7, I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably.
Well, I wasn't at the School of Rock since I was 7.
Okay.
I just started playing guitar when I was 7, and then
Okay,
I joined the School of
that
Rock.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played guitar for a while as a kid, and I dropped out of my guitar lessons. And my dad, like, I sucked at sticking to anything as a kid, and my dad actually bribed me and kept me in guitar lessons by buying me Shonen Jumps. To here, the comic book store was 3 doors down from where I took guitar lessons. So if I practiced my guitar and improved enough as that my guitar teacher was satisfied, I got to go 3 doors down and get a Shonen Jump.
That's how you do it. My mom once got me to swim like 36 laps by telling me she'd get me Pokemon cards based on how many laps I swam, and it was like, yeah, there you go, that worked.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards was how my dad bribed me with stuff most of the time.
Oh yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you think metal has impacted your personality?
So, especially getting into like the more obscure stuff and like the heavier stuff, I think it really does give you like a different kind of perspective on, what's popular and stuff, and like what people like, because it's like, by definition, to find what I consider to be the best stuff, you have to look for like the underground things. So it's like when I see something that's like super popular, like in anything, like anime, video games, or like movies and stuff, it's like there's a part of me that's like, yeah, no, I'm sure that this is like pretty good, but like it's probably not the best. I mean, the best stuff's probably like buried deep down.
Oh, you're so right on that. I've started like reaching out to like musicians who are trying to like put themselves out there a bit more. And he was actually my last interview before you, but I found this guy called CJ, and his sound, like, I was like, man, I love this. He may be my new favorite musician of all time. And I was like,
Whoa.
and he's just like this guy from the UK. And I couldn't put my finger on. I was like, I know this sound, like it's similar to something, but he's made it his own in a way. And then when I talked to him and asked him about his inspirations, he was like, Red Hot Chili Peppers was one of them. And I was like, oh, that's what the familiar
Nice.
thing was. But I was like, it's its own unique thing. And like, in my opinion, so much better, because I'm not a huge Chili Peppers guy at all, but like his sound was close enough where it like piqued something in my head that I'm like, that's familiar, but like not close enough at all where I thought anything about it. And his music is really freaking good.
That's so cool. I might have to give him a listen. I'd love to hear that. No, I think another thing that getting into metal really teaches you is that it's okay if other people don't like the things that you like.
Yeah, and that's something everybody needs to learn, especially nowadays. There's so much stupid fighting on the internet just because people don't have the same view.
Because like one of my favorite albums of all time is The Inalienable Dreamless by Discordance Axis, who are an insane like grindcore band from New Jersey, and they're just extremely loud, fast, and abrasive in a way that is unreal. The singer said that his influences were Neon Genesis Evangelion and T.S. Eliot.
Okay, that's interesting. Like,
But yeah, no, but it's like it's a lot of stuff. Like they used some of the singer's other band's music, Gridlink, in a TV show where they were trying to show how the U.S. military would torture detainees. Like, so they literally had Gridlink be a torture purpose. So it's like,
oh my god.
Clearly it's like, I can't be mad if somebody hates this.
Yeah, that's pretty extreme. So like they were just using it to like actually torture captive people?
They were using it as an example.
Oh.
If you look it up, like, yeah, they would, it was like, I remember, this is Bush era stuff. This is like 2000s and stuff. These things came out where they would play because the U.S. military had like Abu Ghraib and Guantanamo Bay and stuff, and they had all these detainees. Then there was like this whole thing about how they were torturing them. And one of the ways they were doing that, where they were playing like Metallica and Pantera to these people who had never heard metal, and it was like freaking them out.
Oh, there's got to be one or two guys in there who were kind of just like, yeah, I'm
Right?
grooving.
Like one or two.
Well, some guy guard walking by and he's just like, hey, come here. Who is this? What's playing?
Or they're just like, oh no, don't play that again.
Oh, I hate that one.
That was-
Don't play it again. No.
Yeah, but seriously, the U.S. government should not have done that. But the point is, it's like it's like, yeah, most people are probably not gonna love death,
Yeah.
but I do. So it's like, why would I get angry if it's like I show somebody like a disgusting like gore grind band and they don't like it? It's like, okay, and that kind of extends into like my other things, where it's like, if even with like anime and manga, if I show somebody a manga I really like, they're like, I don't like this. It's like, yeah, it's fine. You don't have to like it.
Yeah, I love when you and David kind of bicker for a minute about how you like. You guys usually just go, oh, agree to disagree, but there's usually that time where you guys think the other one's gonna agree, and then you bicker a little bit there, and then you guys are like, hey, yeah, whatever. Do you think? Like, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad.
So
Look, sometimes it's just like, nah, I can't go along with that, man.
Yeah,
You're wrong. I'm sorry.
I think I haven't heard a whole lot of the times where you guys completely disagree, but like, I love your guys' show, honestly. Like, it's so great.
I'm so glad.
So let's quickly chat the drama between Metallica and Dave Mustaine for a minute. What exactly happened there? Like, I know he was the first guitarist and everything, right?
So this is like weirdly one of the more important and kind of interesting stories, I think, in metal, where it's like, so yeah, Metallica started with the original kind of like prime lineup of Metallica was shortly before they recorded their first album was Dave Mustaine on lead guitar, James Hetfield rhythm guitar. Although I actually hear in the original days he didn't even play rhythm guitar, he just sang. And then initially it was Rob McGovney on bass, but then it became Cliff Burton, who was the guy who sadly fell out of the bus and died.
Yeah, that story's nuts.
It's horrible. Oh god, it's so fucking tragic. But yeah, they and then Lars Ulrich on drums. Very controversial drummer. People will tell you simultaneously he's the best drummer and then the absolute worst drummer who ever lived. It's like, depends on who you talk to, more or less.
One of the documentaries I watched threw so much shade at him at the beginning, and they were like they basically were like going into heavy speculation that the only reason he was in the band at first is because they couldn't find a drummer.
Well, it's funny because I believe he was originally, I might be wrong, I think he was from Russia. He was from some Eastern European country, and he came over to America to play tennis. And then, yeah, he met James Hetfield, and he convinced him to pick up drums. But no, so they were all friends. They all drank very heavily, to the point where Metallica for a long time was called Alcoholica. That was like a nickname for them. But the difference is that, and they were all alcoholics. It was too much. I believe like there was a story where like, his drunkenness was getting out of control. And I believe the story is they were going to Dave's house and like James either yelled at or kicked Dave Mustaine's dog, which he shouldn't have fucking done. If he kicked the dog, he shouldn't have fucking done that. And then Dave punched him in the face. And that was kind of the impetus to, all right, you're out of the band now. So they fired him and put him on a Greyhound bus to go back home. And then they hired Kirk Hammett from the band Exodus to be their guitarist. And that's who's been in Metallica ever since. That's been like the stable lineup. But on the Greyhound home, Dave Mustaine was just so fucking angry. He was just like, I'm going to get revenge. I'm gonna be bigger than those motherfuckers. I'm gonna be better than them. So he started Megadeth, and it's so funny because if it was any other band, Dave Mustaine would have succeeded in being bigger than them. But it was Metallica, who's like the only other thrash metal band bigger than Megadeth.
Yeah, like looking back, it's like he probably thought he had a chance, but like look at it like in retrospect, it's like, no man, it's Metallica. You were screwed.
Yeah, I mean and there's been like this whole beef with them ever since, where Dave Mustaine is basically saying that like he essentially wrote all of Metallica's first album.
Yeah, he was saying that.
They stole his riffs to the point where there's a song on Megadeth's first album called The Mechanics, which is a sped up version of the Four Horsemen from Kill 'Em All, which is Metallica's first album. And Dave Mustaine is like, this is the original version of the Four Horsemen, which is funny because it's worse. Like,
so if anything, they were improving his stuff, it sounds like.
Yeah, they improved it. I mean, he's probably still right that he did write that, but like, you know, it's kind of is what it is. And it's like there have been many, like, I feel like they've sort of buried the lead, but Dave has always felt like a guy who holds a goddamn grudge.
I watched a bunch of interviews with him, and like most of them, yeah, it seemed like he had a grudge. And then I found one where it seemed like he was saying he was at peace and that they were now on good terms. And then he immediately went into the thing about, oh, but I wrote all the original, like most of the songs on the album. I was like, ooh, so you're trying to say everything's in the past, and then you're clearly still salty about it.
Dave Mustaine is the definition of that one person who's like, I hate drama. I don't want to start any drama, and then proceeds to start all the drama. That is Dave Mustaine.
Yes. Oh, I hit the nail on the head with that. Yes, that is exactly the vibe I got.
Just one of the messiest people in all of metal.
What advice would you give a newly budding metalhead?
Well, I guess try and go a little deeper, you know, like, let's say you like, I don't know, like, Avenged Sevenfold or, something like that. Well, you know, Avenged Sevenfold has a lot of influences, you know, like, for instance, Iron Maiden, you know, just like Guns N' Roses, Rainbow and stuff, you know, more classic stuff like that. And then you can listen to that, and then you're like, well, what other bands in different genres were influenced by these bands? And then you wind up finding completely different things. I would also suggest, you know, like you listen to more extreme stuff, kind of give it a little bit more of a chance if like the initial sound drives you away a little bit. You know, it's like a lot of metal is all about kind of meeting it halfway, I think.
How do you find the more obscure songs? Because, like, I know for me, it wasn't until I started talking to the people making it that I started finding good, like, underground music.
A lot of it is, honestly, a lot of it these days is on YouTube. There are, like, individual, like, YouTube channels that will sometimes post newer releases. There's one called, like, Vinod Karkai, Vinodkarki. They often post like weird things I've never heard of. Hold on, I'm trying to remember this one. God, I don't remember the name of this specific channel, but like there's been like this movement called the new wave of traditional heavy metal, where basically a bunch of people are trying to like bring back the sound of like the early 80s, more or less, like kind of the earlier speed metal and stuff. And like that stuff's really cool. I really like that. Check that stuff out. Eternal Champion, for instance, is amazing. But yeah, like there's some YouTube channel that always posts that stuff. I wish I could help you out there.
Oh, no problem. I'm sure I'll be able to find stuff around on YouTube.
Oh yeah, but like if you kind of just look up some obscure stuff, yeah, like even if you just look up like obscure metal, you'll probably find some stuff. I remember one of those channels introduced me to a band called Ass. That's actually really good. So from Russia or something.
Oh, that's great. I'm gonna have to check them out just because their name, like, that's ridiculous.
Their name is great. Their album is called the album is called Fate by Axe.
Oh, okay. I was expecting something a little bit more out there because, like, normally I love metal album names. Like, some of them are so great.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, man, thanks a lot for coming on. It was super cool getting to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I mean, I love any chance to talk about metal, you know, like that is honestly like, look, I love anime and manga, but I'm a metalhead at heart, man. That's like kind of like my main thing, that and like art and stuff, you know, like.
We talked about doing heavy metal as the topic for this, that I heard you bring up heavy metal in an episode of Shonen Flop. It was one of the ones that I breezed past because the episode title just didn't click with me, and I was like, oh, I'll come back to it. And then eventually I did, and you start talking about like how it introduced them, like everything about it was terrible. Something was terrible, and then you were like, but the it mentioned a band or something, and I guess you checked it out, and you were like,
Bone Collection. Yeah, that was...
Yes, it was Bone Collection.
Oh, man.
I went back to Bone Collection. You were like, yeah, it introduced me to an awesome band. So I was like, there it is. There's the metal love.
Yeah, Collection is terrible. Trash. We just read a series by the same author. Like, he came back and had another chance. It's called Do Retry. That's the episode where it happened.
I think I listened to that one. I've skipped around a little bit, but mostly I've been like listening in order.
Yeah, no, hey, I totally understand. But yeah, that manga also sucked, but it was still a lot better than Bone Collection, is my point. Don't read Bone Collection, but there is one moment where they reference, I wish I remembered the name of the band. They reference some obscure Japanese metal band I'd never heard of, and I looked it up and like, oh, these guys are kind of sick. So yeah.
Yeah, I ended up going and checking it out too, and I was just like, this is a good sound.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, no, other than like that and like the Pillows who did like the Fooly Cooley soundtrack or FLCL, my buddy had me watch that for another podcast I'm starting up, but I've never been huge into Japanese music, but I'm like, okay, no, like there is really good shit out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, some of those anime intro music goes hard as hell, man. Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, I was like huge into a lot of anime intros growing up, and then I like fell off on like I was like, I can't understand any of the words. I don't know why I listened to this. And then like recently I've just been like, okay, no, like young me was more right than like teenage me, because yes, a lot of this shit is bumping.
It's so funny that you say that, because another thing metal has taught me, ignore the lyrics. Basically, it took me a long time to again remember, oh yes, lyrics are something that you can and should often appreciate. But it's like a non-factor in most metal, especially death metal. One of the most famous death metal bands is called Cannibal Corpse. If you are somebody who doesn't want to read extremely grotesque and disgusting depictions of people getting butchered and eaten, don't look up their lyrics. But if you do, you should, because that's what it is.
That's so funny. Yeah. Like lots of the lyrics, like, yeah, it's like, yeah, if you don't pay attention to what they're saying, like, yeah, great song. And then like one of my buddies, he I can't even remember what the song was, but he gave me the lyrics to it one time. And he was like, yeah, no, my mom won't let me listen to this stuff anymore. I mean, it was something I recommended to him. And he's like, yeah, my mom doesn't like you anymore. I was like, what? I was like her favorite guy. And then I gave him all these like songs to listen to, because he got huge into metal, like way more than I ever did. And he was just like, yeah, I know my mom doesn't like you anymore because you gave me those CDs. No. And I was like, whoops.
Oh God, that sucks. I'm sorry.
She came back around eventually, but like, yeah, no, I was in hot water for a while. I turned him into a metalhead, and
one more for the army, you know, the metal militia.
Thanks a lot for coming on. It's been a blast getting to talk to you.
Oh, it's been great. It's been great talking to you too, man.
where can everybody find you and David? It was a while ago when I had him on, so maybe you can refresh everyone.
Yeah, no, check us out. Our podcast, Shonen Flop, we cover manga that got canceled. Not in the Twitter sense, but in the sense that it only went for 20 chapters, and then nobody cared about it, and so they stopped printing it. And we read it to see if the series was actually good. We've been going for like about 3 years at this point. Find us on shonenflop.com, or if you just look us up on like Spotify or wherever else you get podcasts, or even on YouTube.